Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, January 21st. A major snowstorm today and tonight up and down the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City to Boston. I expect 8 to 12 inches of snow from Philadelphia up to Boston, just a little bit less, perhaps 6 to 10 inches in the D.C. metro region. All the way down to the coastline, there will be heavy snow on the same order of 8 to 12 inches along the Jersey coastline. Blizzard conditions later on tonight along the coastal regions from New Jersey all the way to eastern New England. By late tonight, temperatures will bottom out in the single digits as this storm will be followed by bitter cold Arctic air. Single digits late tonight, even in the big cities, and 0 degrees is not out of the question in some of the outlying areas along the I-95 corridor. The snow is about to get underway in the D.C. metro region. It should get underway in the Philly metro region during the mid to latter part of the morning, and then the midday to early afternoon across New York City. Well, let's get into all the details right now. I wanted to start off with a surface frontogenesis analysis by NOAA, just to show where that Arctic front is, and indeed, here is the frontal system that slipped through the I-95 corridor region of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City early last night. And it, of course, is a crucial factor in all of this. Arctic air now is funneling in on a north wind, northeast wind. Temperatures should drop during the day today into the teens in most mid-Atlantic locations. It'll be one of those storms where the snow will become lighter and fluffier as the day progresses, as we get increasingly colder. The radar now is showing some snow breaking out in some of the northern and western far suburbs of Philadelphia and also north and west of the D.C. All of this will fill in over the next few hours and, of course, intensify during the afternoon. Well, related to that Arctic air intrusion, I wanted to take a look at the critical thicknesses or the temperatures for rain versus snow, and note that they're all south and east of the D.C. area. In this region right in here, it's kind of the rain-snow border, and this is where the Arctic front is. D.C. up in this region right here, despite the fact that Reagan National Airport actually reached about 60 degrees yesterday afternoon. This looks like an all-snow event from D.C. all the way up to Boston, thanks to this Arctic air intrusion. Just a classic setup for a snowstorm along the I-95 corridor with a fresh, cold Arctic air mass anchored by high pressure that will build into the north here, and that will help to push that Arctic air all the way down the east coast into southeastern part of Virginia over the next several hours. Well, here's the latest conventional U.S. surface map, and here is that Arctic front all the way down now into the Carolinas. High pressure centered out over the northeast, the northern plains, but extending a piece all the way out into southeastern Canada. This is always a critical feature necessary for snowstorms in the I-95 corridor. Strong, cold Arctic high will set up here to our north, and again, that will help to funnel in Arctic air down the east coast. No question, all of this will be snow from D.C. up to Boston, and that, of course, is not at all always the issue when we're dealing with snow events here in the mid-Atlantic region. Just a classic setup with a fresh injection of Arctic air. And now let's take a look at the upper air, because this is also a classic setup and a very important feature for today's snowstorm. Well, we know we have the Arctic air, and what else is needed for a snowstorm in the I-95 corridor? Well, you need very strong upper-level energy that helps to set off the development of a surface low-pressure area along the mid-Atlantic coastline. Indeed, this is the current 500 millibar analysis. We've kind of focused in on this particular upper-level feature over the last few days. It's a strong upper-level feature that's kind of rotating around a longer wave trough here set up across southeastern Canada, and this is a classic setup for upward motion moving into the mid-Atlantic region, which in turn sets off the development of surface low pressure, in this occasion just off the mid-Atlantic coastline. And here's the forecast map from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run at 500 millibars for early tonight. By this time, this shortwave energy, which is rotating around the long wave trough, moves into the mid-Atlantic region. Just strong upward motion from D.C. all the way up to New York City, and that will extend up to Boston area. All this will help to intensify the snow as the afternoon wears on, and again, 1 to 2 inch snow per hour rates expected later on today and tonight up and down the East Coast as the major snowstorm continues through the day. Well, let's take a look at some surface forecast maps from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run. This is for early this afternoon. Low pressure intensifying here right off of the North Carolina coast, a classic Cape Hatteras type location for low pressure area. Lots of moisture moving into the I-95 corridor over the next couple of hours. It will intensify and expand during the midday and early afternoon hours. Now, this is a classic coastal storm where the closer you are to the coast, perhaps the more snow will fall. Places like State College to the Poconos, only on the order of a few inches of snow expected there. Meanwhile, southeastern Pennsylvania all the way up to Boston, 8 to 12 inches, and again 6 to 10 inches in the Washington metro region. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours. Here's the forecast map for early this evening. That low moves from the Cape Hatteras region to off the Virginia coast. Kind of a classic comma-shaped pattern setting up here for the snowfall. One thing that will happen, typically happens with a classic nor'easter, is that the snow tends to linger the farther north and east you go. It just kind of rotates around, and I expect the snow will not end in the D.C. region until perhaps just before midnight, and should go till after midnight in the Philly metro region, and all the way into early tomorrow morning in the New York City region. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for late tonight, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, kind of a comma-shaped pattern to the precipitation. Still some decent precipitation throughout New Jersey into the extreme eastern Pennsylvania and across the Delmarva Peninsula. Again, tends to rotate precipitation bands around out of the northeast, and hence the snowfall will linger well into the night across southeastern part of Pennsylvania, and really even across D.C., well into the evening in that area, and all the way until tomorrow morning. I expect a lot of schools will actually be canceled for Wednesday because of the fact that first of all, the snow will last well into the night in most of these I-95 corridor locations, and overnight tonight in this time period there will be considerable blowing and drifting as the winds increase, and again this will be the kind of the powdery, light, fluffy snow as we get colder and colder, so it certainly will lead to considerable blowing and drifting, and of course it will be bitter cold with temperatures by this time and later in the single digits. Finally, by early tomorrow morning, about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, this is the GFS forecast map, just finally pulling out of the southeastern part of Pennsylvania and winding down now across New York City. Still snowing pretty hard across eastern part of New England. Again, a major snowstorm up and down the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Boston, with 8 to 12 inches across Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston, perhaps just a tad less in D.C. And all of this heavy snow will extend all the way to the coast of Delmarva Peninsula, the Jersey coastline, Long Island. All get pounded. Blizzard conditions in the latter stages of the storm along the coast from New Jersey to eastern New England, with strong winds and bitter cold temperatures and heavy snow. One final map I wanted to show, because we've kind of focused in the last couple of days how these computer forecast models dramatically increase precipitation totals for this storm. This is last night's Zero-Z GFS precipitation totals forecast map for this upcoming event using the Zero-Z GFS model run. This dark blue area right here represents ½ an inch of liquid, and now it extends all the way from DC all the way up the East Coast. Just a day or two ago this was under 1/10 of an inch in this region, and it's dramatically increased over the past couple of forecast model runs, and again at least ½ an inch of liquid equivalent up and down the I-95 corridor, and that will all be in the form of snow, leading to a major snowstorm today and tonight from D.C. to Boston. That's it for now. For the SIWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.